Gigi Dalignia's private advice to Toprak Razgatlioglu, and what the hell that really means. Valencia wasn't breathing. It was grinding its teeth. Not the roar of engines, not the clatter of mechanics, not the neon hum of a championship finale. What filled the air was something colder, anticipation sharpened to a weapon. This wasn't a race weekend. This was MotoGP's true baptism ritual, the place where rookies get measured, veterans get exposed, and factories see their future with a clarity that hurts. And in the middle of that crucible stood a man who does not belong to calm skies or polite paddock politics. Toprak Razgatlioglu. Jaw locked, eyes slicing light, posture loose, like a man who could step into chaos and call it home. He wasn't wearing Yamaha blue like a rookie desperate for approval. He was wearing an aura that made established MotoGP riders suddenly remember how fragile tire grip can be. But behind that aura was something even stranger. Gigi Dalignia walking toward him. Not a quick handshake, not a passing nod, not a PR stunt for cameras. This was the architect of modern Ducati dominance. The man who rebuilt a dynasty from aluminium, aero, and borderline witchcraft. The man who chose Marc Marquez over Martin and detonated the market in 24 hours. The same man who refuses distractions, refuses irrelevance, refuses wasted time. Yet here he was, walking toward a Yamaha rider. Not Diogo Moreira, not Rins, not Oliveira, not anyone inside the Ducati family. He picked Toprak. The cameras caught it accidentally. The Paddock didn't even process it in the moment. But when the clip surfaced, it felt like someone leaked scripture. Gigi leaned in and said the most un-Gigi sentence ever spoken in a MotoGP garage. You have to stay calm. Calm? To Toprak? The rider who treats braking zones like battlefields. The rider whose rear tire lives sideways. The rider whose DNA is pure aggression in motion, a man whose bloodstream probably crackles with electrical arcs midair. Telling him to stay calm is like telling a thunderstorm to behave. But Gigi didn't say it to Marc, or Lorenzo, or Pedrosa, or Acosta, or Bezzecchi, because those men aren't built to slow down. They are built to invade fate. So why Toprak? Why him? Why that moment? Why that tone? You could almost hear something unsaid sitting behind the sentence. Something factories hate saying out loud. Something that might shape 2026, 2027, and the first chapter of the 850cc era. And when Toprak replied, "Everyone is very close," Gigi didn't correct him. He didn't give false comfort. He didn't undermine Yamaha. He just gave that one line meant for riders and Ducati might want one day. You just need more kilometers. Good luck. Simple. Cold. Loaded. This wasn't pep talk. This was scouting. This was Gigi listening to the rhythm of a future he might want to steal. And it forces the question that no one in Valencia asked out loud. Was this the moment destiny quietly pivoted toward a rider outside Ducati's walls? Comment your reaction below. Build up. The glare of two different worlds. 750 to 800 words. The test wasn't supposed to matter. Postseason. Low grip. Cold track. Half the grid tired, injured, or checking hotel checkout times. The perfect place for a factory to hide weaknesses. But Valencia 2025 didn't hide anything. It exposed everything. And nowhere was the contrast louder than the difference between the bike Toprak rode and the eyes watching him. The Yamaha V4, the most complicated gamble of 2026. Yamaha abandoned their inline-4 identity after years of bleeding on straights. The V4 was supposed to be rebirth. Instead, on day one in public, it looked like a prototype kneeling under the weight of its own potential. Slow corner entry, stressed acceleration, mid-corner hesitation, and a Michelin front tire that refused to forgive. Toprak understood immediately. You could see it in the way he walked the garage. Not confused, not disappointed, just calculating. He braked later than physics recommended. He leaned the bike in ways Yamaha didn't expect. He rode with the same violence that broke WSBK records. But the M1 V4 didn't bend yet. It tolerated him. It didn't obey. And that's where Gigi's words hit. You need kilometers. Not because Toprak is slow, not because he is inexperienced, but because MotoGP machinery is built with layers of cruelty that only repetition can decode. MotoGP punishes intuition. WSBK rewards it. And Toprak's intuition is monstrous, but it still needs mileage to translate into a Michelin language he hasn't spoken yet. Then comes the Paddock reaction. The Yamaha box acted impressed. The riders inside the Yamaha family acted shocked. Fabio Quartararo acted relieved that someone else finally rode like he wasn't afraid to break bones for milliseconds. But Ducati riders didn't flinch. Why would they? They ride the most complete machine ever created in the modern era. Honda riders didn't look. They were too busy surviving whatever HRC built this year. KTM riders? Binder sneered. Acosta smirked like a wolf who smelled future competition. Both recognized the talent, but also recognized a truth. Toprak's natural weapon doesn't work the same way here. And Bezzecchi? He looked at Toprak like a mirror of the same madness. Pure instinct, no fear, and a psychological signature that can break opponents before the first braking marker. But the one reaction that mattered was Gigi's. Gigi didn't see a Yamaha rider. He saw a prototype Ducati hasn't built yet. His eyes weren't on sector times. They were on the movement inside corners, the micro corrections, the way Toprak lets the rear slide before the front commits. That style is alien to Michelin. It is alien to modern MotoGP. It is alien to anyone who doesn't treat the bike as an extension of chaos. Toprak is one of them. But chaos only becomes domination if the bike becomes an accomplice. And right now, Yamaha is not that accomplice. And here's the savage truth. No one wants to admit. Toprak is not in MotoGP to save Yamaha. He is not here to rescue a factory drowning in philosophy. He is not here to be the Quartararo replacement if Fabio walks away in 2027. He is here to test himself and test the market. Because Toprak is 29. Because 2027 resets the universe with the 850cc era. Because Ducati might lose Marc by 2027. Because Aprilia might lose Martin by 2027. Because KTM might lose patience with Binder. Because VR46 might switch status. Because factories will hunt talent with the desperation of dying regimes. Toprak knows this. Gigi knows this. That's why the conversation mattered. The question isn't why Gigi approached him. The question is why he approached him now. Why this test? Why this version of Yamaha? Why this phase of Ducati's own internal political war? And why say, stay calm, to a man whose entire career has been the opposite of calm? Maybe it wasn't advice. Maybe it was a test. Maybe Gigi wanted to see how Toprak reacts to being told to slow the fire inside him. Some riders reject it instantly. Some get offended. Some become insecure. Toprak didn't flicker. He just nodded and walked like a man who planned to break the asphalt anyway. It leaves a brutal question smoldering in the air. Was this focus, or was this the moment a new storm silently took shape? Comment your take.